Sometimes in an episode, there isn't a lot of actual progress. This is not one of them. Welcome back to the Scale Builders Guild. Thanks again for watching. It's episode 2 of Rocky Mountain High.
Rocky Mountain High.
Man, I'm amazed at what 7 days was able to produce. Let's just say there were a lot of late nights. No preamble other than Josh and I are competing in the Wii RC Rock competition this coming June in Denver, Colorado. We'll both be wearing cowboy hats of some description, and we'll both be driving caged buggies. Josh also talked a little bit about chaps. Be wearing pants under them, of course. Alright, here's my 1.9 Pro mod. This is the Brazing C1 Pro Leafer chassis. And man, did I cut and melt some metal. This is the beginnings of the cage. This is what an F-toy, in my interpretation, looks like. Lots has happened since last week, and I really pushed hard to get a lot accomplished because I still have a full-time job. I work for a living. This is fun. This is supposed to be fun. And I don't have a lot of spare time because work is busy, which is good. Busy at work is good. All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy. But I did get a lot accomplished because I needed to. Time is going to be limited over the next couple of weeks, and I wanted to make sure that I made some good, solid progress. And I really don't think I would have gotten to this point without all of the previous practice I've done in brazing and in 3D design. I have learned an awful lot over the last few years, and it's really, in my opinion, upped my game and made for some pretty cool projects. This is all very accurate to what I designed in Fusion 360, and now you're going to see a little spin around of that whole thing happening. Why haven't we cut to that yet? You can see that what I designed is essentially what's existing in real life. That's because I used Josh's technique of actually building a pattern for all of this tube work. Not all of it. The main hoop was essentially, here, let's just get the chassis out of the way for a moment. The main hoop, this part here. This is what I really wanted, this lower part, this outer portion here. This is the most important part, because if this isn't square and it isn't accurate to what I designed, nothing's gonna fit. So I really wanted to make sure I got that right. And the way I did that was by printing one of these guys. This here is basically the pattern for that outer hoop. And you can see it's just like a contoured piece that I built off of what I designed, and then I used this in conjunction with my Oakenshield tube bender. You must find one of these. I don't know if it's still Oakenshield, but they are on Etsy. Just look for, hobby grade tube bender, and you should find something that's pretty much exactly this thing. Comes with a couple of different bits here that are 3D printed, but used this and all of that DOM tubing that I got from Stock Car Steel to bend around this template. It's magic because it works 100% of the time, provided you know how to use the bender. Which I did manage to waste a few pieces of tube, but then I cut them all up and used them for other things. So, and I'll still probably use those parts. Reduce, reuse, recycle. Despite my best efforts to get this outer hoop all in one piece, I did have to braze 3 pieces together because some of the bends just wouldn't work quite right. I'm still learning that bender. No matter what I do, I seem to get a little bit off in terms of measurements. So what I did was I put an M3 grub screw between 2 of the joints and then brazed all that together. So it's a nice solid connection. It's not going to come apart. And it basically makes it as if it's one piece. So yeah, after that, I sort of winged it. A lot of this other tube work is kind of just an interpretation of what I wanted to achieve. And I measured every time and made sure all my clearances were going to be good, and came up with this more kind of, a modern approach at an F-toy. F-toys are not modern in any way, shape, or form. So I wanted to do something a little bit more aggressive on the front end, hence that tube bend here. which I think actually makes it look pretty cool. Yeah, that was about it. Brazing is fun. I highly recommend it. If you've never done it before, I will link to a video right up here where you can learn all about it and watch me melt some plastic at the same time. Because this is all dimensionally accurate to my 3D drawing, I knew it was going to fit. And there's a few steps before we can actually mount it to the actual chassis rails, and that's because I'm waiting on some parts from Send Cut Send, which I've also designed in Fusion 360 and have exported and sent them all the DXFs, and those are going to be here Wednesday, which is the day before this episode's going to air. So maybe we'll do some stuff before then and it'll appear right now, otherwise probably not. And you're waiting for something to happen, but it's not going to. The one thing that I have held off on are these bottom tubes, and if I can just sort of like place this sort of where it's going to go, that's about the right spot. These are going to get brazed on there, so then that way we can have a nice side panel here to hide everything on the side. But this is where the Send Cut Send pieces come in. There's going to be a tube coming out of this plastic piece here, which I have. Basically, it's going to be here, kind of like this. And this piece is going to be how I keep everything square, because that tube will line up to this tube. And then I know exactly where everything's going to mount up. And then we can braze everything in place. Pretty smart. Yeah, that's sort of how that's going to go. There are some parts that have been sent to Send Cut Send. They'll be sending those back to me. And this portion here is the rear portion. These are going to be cut in 2mm mild steel. Same with this piece. This will all get brazed together, and then this whole section gets brazed into the back of the cage, just like so. Pretty smart. In addition to that, what else have we got? Oh yes, you'll need this on the front of the grill. A little bit of a headlight grill action. That's going to get brazed on there as well. And now we can talk a little bit about the actual chassis itself. What changes have been made? Well, I've added a motor. This is the Fusion Pro 2-in-1 2300 kV from Hobby Wing. And I've also added a fake motor. This really nice 3D printed Toyota 1UZ. Sorry. For all of you Americans out there, it's a 1UZ, which I think comes out of an FJ80. So it is more power, baby. That's about it. I also added the transmission tunnel back in to make this a little more scale accurate. And I've already started designing the interior as well. So there you go. Still a very long list of things that has to be accomplished, but I'm well on my way. There's 4 tires with wheels on it now, so that's good too. Anyway, I'm really excited about this. I think it's going to be a super fun build. Oh yeah, I forgot. To go with that interior that I've already started designing, I already designed this rear tray. This plops right in there and will mount up with the actual mounting points of these 2mm holes that I've built into this piece here. So this actually goes on there, and then that all gets welded together. Brilliant. I am so smart. And here is the fuel cell that I'll be using. Most F-Toys ran on propane, so if they got a little bit out of shape, there'd still be fuel in the motor. I don't care if a 1UZ can be propane swapped, it doesn't matter. But it isn't actually a propane tank, it's a keg. And that's your first clue as to what my livery is going to be. Put your guesses down below. You know I love reading through your feedback, and I try to answer as many of those as I can. And if you're enjoying this series and you want to see me do more fabrication stuff like this, hit the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and ring that notification bell so you get updates anytime there's a new video from the Scale Builders Guild. All right, that's enough for the F-Toy, the 1.9 Pro Mod. I think this thing is going to be so awesome looking when it's done. I cannot wait to get those F10Ts under there and finish all the other things on this list. So many things. All right, let's move on to that thing back there. This thing has honestly changed my life. The X1 Carbon is by far the best 3D printer I've ever used, and I've used 3. So that should count for something. What do we got? We got something going on in here. Oh yeah. Get out of there. There we go. Hey, it's a cute little seat for a little man. This printer, honestly, it turns out such great stuff every single time. I've really gotten into the tree structure of supports. They use so much less material and work so much better. Look at how the quality of this thing is crazy. These are Josh's seats from the Porsche that we built. They're going to go into that guy there. One of them. Now, I'm not as chuffed about this one as the other one because I didn't really do much here. Josh did it all, and poorly. On one of these tubes, he got it a little bit out of square, and it's gonna drive me crazy forever. No, but in all seriousness, this 1.9, what's this named after? Peter somebody? I don't know what it's called. Danny's Peter? Alan? I don't know. Anyway, this... Maybe it's Danny. I gotta go look it up. Jimmy. It's Jimmy's moon buggy. This is Jimmy's moon buggy. Josh did all the design work, and if you were part of the build along, you're probably at this same stage. You probably have less ridiculous wheels and tires on, though. I didn't have anything... I did. I have lots of tires and stuff, but I don't know. I put these on just to be a goof, and they look kind of hilarious. And I think I might actually do something like this after this competition is over, because this looks like a lot of fun. But there have been some updates, obviously, as you can see. Links are installed. Axles are installed. Shocks are installed. 3D printed motor cover is installed, seat is installed, dashboard is installed. Yeah, there's a lot going on here. No electronics yet. The motor still needs to have the whole transmission flip done. I'm waiting on another servo to arrive, but it's really starting to look like a thing. And a crazy thing too. I was not prepared for what this was going to look like. Obviously, like I said, these wheels and tires are going to go, but this thing is super flexy. Wow-wee. These pricey shocks are very, very good, and I would highly recommend them if you like to spend a lot of money on shocks, but get what you pay for, because these are really good. Yes, you'll also notice I've decided to go with plastic axles. I could have and considered going with aluminum portal axles, but I just kind of felt like that wasn't the right vibe for this truck, and I think it's mostly because I want to be able to slide better over an obstacle and not just catch on an obstacle. Josh did all of the design work for this motor. It looks fantastic. I'm really impressed with all of the workmanship and quality that went into it. Let's see if we can zoom in on that. Ooh, yes. You know, actually, you know what? Here, this is easier. I'll just take it out. Why didn't you do that before? Here it is right here. Look at this thing. This is just incredible. I left that as a spinny boy for now. This was sort of a test print to see if it was all going to print just fine, and it did. I'm missing a tube. There it is. Orientation is always important when it comes to 3D printing. And I did move a lot of these parts around in order to get sort of the best orientation. Sometimes they need supports, sometimes they don't. Tubes are always tough. There's never really a good place, never really a good orientation for a tube, especially one with so many bends. But I managed to do a pretty good job, I think. There are some things that I would probably do differently, and I'm going to have to because I am going to be printing and detailing a second one for Josh. I might try to use, because I'm using the Bamboo X1 carbon, I think for the next one I might actually paint in some different colors. Use that AMS to its actual advantage and print some parts with the color built in to reduce my amount of time on detailing. But without any sanding, this carbon fiber PLA just does such a great job and creates such a nice quality print. You can see that's where the motor will go, in there. And once I get the right parts from Josh, which are in the next order coming from Vanquish, I'll be able to mount this up properly. So yeah, very cool stuff. I am really, really chuffed. Yeah. Of course, if you're interested, I think Josh is going to open. Oops. If you are interested in this buggy and you want to build one for yourself at some point in the future, I think Josh is going to open this up once everybody's done with the build-off. I am really super excited to see more of these coming out, because this looks capable. Who knows if it actually is? In someone's hands who knows how to drive, probably quite capable. In my hands, it's going to look really nice sitting on the bench. I have at least come up with my wheel combination. I don't remember what these rings are called, but they're from VP. And a nice copper-colored tank, which I think is a very appropriate color for what I'm planning with the livery. Any guesses? You know what to do. All right, I think that's going to do it for this week's update. A lot has been accomplished. I'm very, very pleased with the progress so far, and just how much I was able to cram into a very short amount of time. I'm going to get back to the design table, start working on the interior elements for the F-Toy, and hopefully hit you with a nice big juicy update next week as well. All right, that's going to do it. Thank you so much for watching. See you again next week.